So I did that organically in 4 to 5 months, where my everyone
Wow.
said it would take a year plus. But now, all of a sudden, in the last 6 months, guess what? 80% of the consumers are using AI for their searches, including myself.
Hey everybody, it's Kathy Byrnes here with Real Estate Riches, and my guest today is Christophe Choo, who I'm very excited to have on. Hey, welcome, buddy.
Hi there, how are you?
Wonderful.
I'm super excited to be on your podcast. This is so cool.
Thank you. I love it. I love it, especially when I get to talk to people like yourself. You're out in Beverly Hills, right?
Yes, yes.
So would you say that you have a luxury clientele?
Primarily, yes. I mean, my
Yes.
average price range can range between 6 to 9 million or 10, depending on the year. But yeah, I mean, Beverly Hills is one of the most luxurious parts of the world and our outlying areas as well. So yes.
Yes. And I also noticed when I was checking you out about your international relationships. Could you kind of touch on that? Because that's a big thing for me.
I saw that. Yes, you have a lot of connections around the world, as I do. And Beverly Hills is a resort market for a lot of wealthy people.
Yes.
So being that I'm half French and half
Mm.
Korean, and I've traveled the world pretty extensively since I was very young. First of all, I love traveling. I love speaking different languages. And having a business in Beverly Hills where a lot of my clientele, the buyer side particularly, is maybe 70% international buyers. So,
Mm.
uh, having that being said, I've specifically started a plan about 15, 16 years ago to really build that international network and business. And essentially, a lot of my friends through Coldwell Banker and other companies are owners of our franchises around the world, whether it's Italy, France, Spain, all over the world, Dubai, all over. So I really keep those connections. I travel to see them. I speak at their offices because when they're thinking of a friend or client, buying a house in LA, I want to be the broker of choice. So yeah, international is a very important aspect. And it's fun because when you have international clients and you go to Hong Kong or Singapore or anywhere in the world and you have clients, it's a great way to go to the country with wealthy people and be part of that. So it's an excellent thing which you do as well.
Yes, yes, I love it. And all the countries you just named, they're growing. And your ultra high net worth clients, they're buying not just one home, they're buying multiple homes.
Yes, many of my wealthy clients have anywhere from 2 to 5 properties around the world. Yes,
Yes.
very common. Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of people that are doing luxury properties around the country, they're not thinking on a broader concept. You're ahead of the game, especially 15 years doing that. And I'm saying to other realtors that you already have a luxury clientele, especially if they're starting in the $6 million price point, and they have the opportunity to buy in other locations.
Yes.
And and it's a smart investment. Like Dubai is a perfect example.
Yes.
And why not have the house in Portugal and be able to have it leased out even if you want to? Because
Exactly.
some do it as, a combo. Let's go stay there for a little bit, but let's have it rented out when we're not there.
Yeah, and a lot of my very wealthy clients, the ones especially I have a really good connection with, when they're ready to buy something in Italy or France or Dubai, and they're really serious about it, there have been a number of times where we plan a trip together. My wife and I go with the couple. We go to the country. I introduce them to a broker. We look at properties because even though may not know the marketplace there, my friends are the experts there, but they like my opinion. And as a real
Ah,
estate broker in luxury, you know what's good. You know a good location without even knowing the area. You can tell. Good construction,
yes,
all that
yes,
stuff. So
yes.
it's a great way to travel and
Write it
and
off.
and continue growing your relationships with your clients.
Yes, I love that idea. I had not thought of that one, uh, but it's on the list now. And the other thing is, well, friends of mine are doing these road shows for realtors around the world. Right now, they've got three of them set up in Mexico along the Riviera there. And what they're doing is inviting agents who want to be like you, have international clients who want to buy in different locations, but
Yeah,
they
of
want to get a feel for that territory
course,
themselves,
of
and they
course.
and they want to meet the agents that they would be referring with. And
Yes.
so we're setting up those tours all over the world.
Yeah. And for you, Kathy, just if you haven't done it yet, one of my thoughts is, okay, let's say I want to go to Dubai or anywhere in the world. I have friends around that usually own companies or offices. So I contact them. I've been there for 10 days or whatever. I schedule a date where I go to their office, speak to their offices or their group. And then I meet one of the top agents so I know them and do some tours of some of their listings, do
Yeah.
videos.
Yes.
And just continue to and have lunch and dinners with them and their team or whoever they decide. And it's super fun. You really
Yeah.
get to understand. And when you're at a cocktail party or dinner and someone says, "Oh, we're thinking about buying a property in Forte de Marmi." Oh, Forte de Marmi. My friend owns the company there. I've been there. I've seen the villas, and you can buy this for that near the beach. You can buy this in the hills. So it's great to be knowledgeable. When you're knowledgeable, the more knowledge you have, the more you can help your clients. So it's a lot of fun to do that.
Oh yeah, I love it. Well, and the other thing I noticed, it's all over your website that you do this.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so you're branding. This is who I am. That's how I'm branding. This is who I am. And this is so important for agents to understand. You have to stop thinking small, just in
Right.
your little territory. Even if
Right.
you're not in a $6 million plus place, stop thinking small because
Yeah.
technology is making us smaller. So
Yes.
we have access to
Mm.
the whole world.
And
And
don't worry about price points because I mean recently we sold one for like 995 million for. I mean we do all price points and maybe your marketplace luxury is 800,000, could be 600.
right.
That doesn't matter. Luxury is luxury based on that particular area and location and lifestyle. So don't worry about focusing on big numbers or whatever. It's just all about the experience, the service of helping people and it'll always come back to tenfold.
Yes. Well, and you and I were talking about AI, and you've incorporated it heavily into your business. And I really wanted to talk to you about that because I'm a big fan of educating agents so that they get it. But so many are afraid, and so they're tiptoeing in, and it's almost like dive in, people. But how are you using it?
Well, first of all, what are they afraid of? I haven't heard that.
Oh,
Afraid of
really?
doing videos, I understand, but afraid of AI?
Yeah, because they feel overwhelmed. It's interesting because I've been on lots of seminars lately, and I watch the faces of the agents who are on these Zoom calls, and I
Mm.
look at the age groups. Like you and I are a little older, so you would think that, or people think, well, we won't know anything about AI. I'm 75. I know plenty.
You're 75? Wow.
Thanks. But my point is, when I see them, like Tony Robbins did a 3-day event, and I was on the Zoom section of where he was having it go. So
Right,
I could see a lot of the faces.
right.
And I was guessing, oh, I don't know, 30 on up. And complete overwhelm and overload, and especially in the comments. And the same thing when I was on several other major events where they were showing this online. And I thought, well, that's my niche as far as helping those agents, because what I heard was they're afraid of it. They
Mm.
want to know it. They're overwhelmed by it. They don't understand the terminology. And so a non-entrepreneur sits back. You're an
Right.
entrepreneur, you're a businessman.
Yes. Yeah.
And what I'm trying to also do is level up agents to be business builders, not
Well, here's
just.
always my thought. Look, I've been selling real estate now for 36 years. I
Mm,
started when I was 18, and Tony Robbins. I've been to so many of Tony Robbins
yep.
events, and one of the things I learned way back in the early 90s is constant and never-ending improvement, right? So I that's just part of who I am, and I love to learn and grow as I get older and older. Learning and growing helps us be young and helps us be fresh. I mean, when I started, I don't know how long you've been in, but there was basically computers were just starting. There was no internet. AOL started out, remember with the AOL and those emails.
Yeah.
So always learning, and I've had coaches in my real estate career now for 33 years.
Mm,
Mike Ferry's company, Mike himself and his company, and another coach, and then now Tom Ferry for 20 some years. So
mm,
really believe in coaching. I go to, 3 or 4 Tom Ferry events a year around the country,
mm.
other training events from different speakers. Learning and growing is so important. And with AI, Tom introduced it to us maybe a year and a half ago. And I always like to embrace new things. I'm like,
Me
oh,
too.
that's interesting. Let me figure it out. At night when you're at home, you're on your sofa watching TV or relaxing, you go on your laptop, you start searching it out. So, like anything, there's a learning curve and you have to just learn and grow. So, with ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini, and all of these different, AIs, and we use all of them. They can help you. So like with ChatGPT in the beginning, I was asking ChatGPT, that was my first one, like, what do you want to know about me? And they asked me like 25 questions about me. So they get to know who you are, what you do, and all that. So look, with anything, you just gotta try it, test it, and use it. And let's face it, AI is just in its infancy right now.
Yes.
I can't even imagine in 5 years or so what it's going to be. And I remember being a kid watching Star Trek, remember?
Mm-hmm.
Those little things that flipped up and they could communicate with the ship and all that. My dream as a kid was, and now our iPhones, right? But they're
Yeah.
18, 20 years old, right?
Yeah.
About
Yeah.
that. So again, I think you have to not put away your fears. What is fear? False evidence appearing real.
Yep.
Put that aside and just dive. What do you have to lose? What's there to be afraid of? AI is not going to jump out and kill you.
Right.
And AI is not going to replace us.
I don't agree. Yeah,
I
I agree. It
will
won't.
help agents grow at a higher rate
Hmm.
that, and they may replace you. So that's the difference. So be afraid of being replaced by an agent that's following AI because you're not. So that's what to be afraid of.
I agree. I had an area in town. I'm in the Charlotte area,
Yes.
and I'm up by the lake. And so I had a client that I'd sold a property down in a nice area down there, but it wasn't my territory necessarily. But it was easy enough for me to sell it to her. I could figure all that out back then. But that was in I think 2022 when the market was insane. Everybody was way overpaying for stuff, and they did like 100 over.
Yeah.
100 over list, and because we were in competition anyway, they buy
What
it.
price point? Like six, 700,000 price point?
No, it was at that time they paid 890 something for it.
So that's a fair amount. It's 15-ish% over. Yeah.
Yes. And so anyway, so they ends up saying, well, 3 years later, we want to sell. We've got a dog and we want the dog to have a bigger yard. I love people like that. And
Yes.
so so I said, okay, well, it was in a unique area called Plaza Midwood where it's walkable to the town, a lot of cool features, but it's old. And
Yeah.
so I went on Grok and I said, I need to do deep research on this whole area. You are an expert
Yeah.
appraiser. You're going to help me get things all figured out. But because the price point was from 500,000 to 5 million in like a
Right.
900 round, I said, well, I need help. I need help. And that's the point. It can help. And it was
It
marvelous. We
does
ended
help. Yeah.
because I asked it to help me. I did a lot of components to it. It wasn't like it did all the work. I fed in stuff, we figured,
Of
brainstorm,
course.
but the bottom line was I wanted to have multiple offers on the property. So I wanted to price it based on that.
Right. Right.
And I wanted to be in the range. And so I had it sold in 22 days, which was exciting
Right.
because that was rare right then, because two other properties went on the market the same day we did and
Right.
messed up my formula. But
And yeah, please
it was
finish.
great.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
If you think about AI now, and look, in the last 5 years, particularly as technology evolves, things are changing so quickly. I remember, almost 30 years ago when I was one of the first agents to have a big website, right? A fancy,
Hmm.
luxurious website. In those days, it was SEO, right? Where we'd have to write the blogs and have the proper keywords. Because my goal in those days was I wanted to be top of the Google search engines for all of the Beverly Hills, Realtor, all the keywords that I wanted to do. So I did that organically in 4 to 5 months, where my everyone
Wow.
said it would take a year plus. But now, all of a sudden, in the last 6 months, guess what? 80% of the consumers are using AI for their searches, including myself.
Yes.
So when you look at AI now, the searches are not the same as Google, right?
No.
So it's very different. And we're now working on changing everything so that AI finds us and prominently promotes us versus just Google and for example,
Yes.
Gemini is part of Google. So on the Gemini searches, I still come up because under the Google searches, but under ChatGPT and Grok, it's a different story. So we've got to really change that because if 80% of the consumers are finding it on AI searches, I got to make sure I'm ahead of that curve.
Well, that's exactly right. And you are the first person I've talked to that gets this, that I've interviewed. And I'm like, oh man, this is serious stuff. And it's no longer SEO, it's AEO, which
Oh,
is
that's a new term, AEO. You're right.
yes, and AEO is about answering the questions that they're searching on chat because they're doing whole sentences, it's
Yes.
and so you have to go in, figure out you can even ask AI to help you. What are the searching questions that people are searching on these different
Yeah.
platforms so that now you build your blogs, your website, all your stuff based on AEO.
Yeah.
And, and it's so important.
And that's one of our campaigns right now we're working on is for the AI searches, we're basically going to ask the public.com to get, what are the key questions buyers or sellers are looking for in your marketplace. And of course, I'm always looking generally for sellers, but buyers as well.
Yeah.
So putting that out, then writing blogs for that on the website because an AI is kind of lazy. So they want to, you have to make it very easy for them. And I learned something new last week that you got to put it all on your blog first. And
Hmm.
then 3 to 4 days later, then you can post it on other places because it's got to be indexed on your blog first. And then afterwards on the other, because, all the searches, that's the most important thing.
Wow, that's a good tip for me, man. I love that. And don't you find that all the different platforms have a completely different formula?
Yes, we will put the same question into 3 or 4 or 5 different AI models, and they all come out differently. And then I always ask it to go deeper and deeper and be the best copywriter in the world or be the best researcher in the world from
Mm-hmm.
this perspective or that perspective. And I'm learning now to talk to AI versus just, I'm not a good typer. I mean, I can type, but so I just put the record button and I talk to it. And that's
Yes.
easier for me than just typing it in.
Well, you know why that's good? Is also it's picking up your tonality. And
I didn't think
so
about that.
it's absolutely doing that. And one of the cool things about that is, you know how you talked about having it ask you all those questions so it would get
Yes,
to know
yes.
you?
Yeah.
So for me, I recently just did this. Sorry, I got this thing popping up on my computer. I need to get it out of here. One of the things that I did, I'd heard about having it ask you like 25, 30 questions
Right.
on every aspect of who you are, your
Right.
age, your integrity, your family, your fun things you like to do, where you like to go, your goals, your mission, all of that. And
Yes.
then have it have all those questions. And then I use the app. And so I printed out the questions and then I would just go into the app and
Yep.
say,
Yep.
number one is this, number two, number three. And then I created it as a PDF. So now I've
Mhm.
got a PDF that's me.
Yep.
And like a ChatGPT has this thing on the left-hand side that are projects. So I uploaded that PDF in all the projects because there's a
Mm.
separate little spot up here to add it so it goes
Right.
for the whole scenario. So I
Right.
put it in there. So now it knows my core basically.
Yes. And when
And
I ask ChatGPT things, I said, depending on what I'm doing or what I'm working on, I'm like, I will often say, make it in my tone and my style and the way I present myself. And I'll ask it sometimes, how do you see me? What do you think of me? What is your intake about me? What do you think people think of me? It's kind of a fun thing to play around with to learn because, again, this is just the infancy. So I can't even imagine, like I said, in 5 or 10 years, what it's going to be like.
we won't recognize our world. That's for
For
sure.
real. For real.
For real. Well, I love how you're doing that with international. I love how, give us some examples of how you're using it in your business specifically.
Pretty much for all of our posts on social, our blog, our Google business page. I mean, we have a lot of places we post things, right?
Yeah, I saw that you have something like 100,000 things out there. You set
Yeah.
some sort of
And
record
every
on.
platform is different.
Yeah.
What you write on an Instagram personal page is a different tone than a business page.
Mm-hmm.
Your Google business page, I always like to maximize the characters so that the SEO, right?
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn is more business-like and not so personal. So everything is different, and and even though they write it, I still rewrite it, change things around.
Oh, absolutely. And and you can spot it. You know those little M dashes, what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah,
You can tell ChatGPT now not to do those, and it will
yes.
not do them, which is
Yes.
great.
And just,
So,
it's like you said earlier, research. I mean, I knew who you were. I searched you. I mean, we follow each other now on social media and all that. But of course,
mhm.
I went to ChatGPT and I asked about you, and it was so concise and precise and several pages, very helpful. And when I meet new clients, if they are findable, it's great to at least to have some knowledge about these people before I
Yes.
meet them. So important.
Yes. It's you can do it for properties. Like I had one agent say, I've got this land. I don't know, I don't know what you can do on the land. I said, well, that's simple. I said, what county is it in? And go get the zoning department web address, and now just give that to
Yeah.
ChatGPT, and that's your source because it does lie to us, doesn't it? And I want always the sources when it gives me information.
Yeah. And it makes mistakes, of course, and all that. That's why you have to always check it out. But 80%, but I'm sure in a few years, as we're all feeding it information about our, I mean,
Mm.
just I don't know how many people are on all these platforms, but let's say out of 7 billion people on the planet, let's say 1 or 2 billion are using it. Just think the knowledge and information these AI sources will have in a few years about everything. They're going to know us better than we know ourselves.
Oh, I know. I just love it. And my VA decided to terminate today, and I had a
Oh,
big
no.
project I was doing on the 5th because I do live trainings for realtors to teach them AI to help them understand, especially the ones that are just dipping their toes in it. And I
Right.
really want to help them level up. Well, anyway, I don't know a lot of the tools that I have, like Go High Level. I know the basics. And I
Yeah.
had gone through and used AI. I said, give me step by step, talk to me like I'm a fifth grader so that I know how to create the landing page, all the follow-up stuff that I would
Right.
need. It
Right.
laid it all out, sent that all over to her, and thinking it would be done today. And she said, I quit. I go,
It's like
no.
nowadays, like we have a technical problem, we have to call people. I go to ChatGPT or Grok or whatever, and I ask the question, and pretty soon I get a whole outline. I play with it, and it works.
Yeah, I've even fixed my garage door at my house. It wasn't going down right.
Also, this if I was when I was young, we didn't have any kind of things like this, but if I had a phone and like something like AI, oh, I would never sleep. As a kid, I would just be always like playing around and learning things. So
Yeah, me too.
we have a
So,
great opportunity in today's world, and it can be used for so many wonderful things. It's
yeah,
really a great tool for us in our tool chest.
I agree. Well, I want to touch on something that's really near and dear to your heart, and
Yes.
that is giving back. Want to
Yeah.
tell us what you do and how you feel that, number one, I'm sure that's how it makes you feel, but also it's just good, shows your character, and that's another reason I think people trust you. But tell us your story.
Well, giving back has always been very important to me. My mom was a country girl from the south of France, from a poor
Mm.
family, but she was one of the most kind-hearted, loving, caring. She would give the shirt off her back, loan all of her money to someone to help them. That's how I was raised. And unfortunately, she left this planet when I was in my early 30s. So, anyways, that's number one. As a youth, with my mom, my stepfather, he and I did not get along, and I had a lot of big dreams. I always wanted to be rich and live a fancy, luxurious lifestyle. My stepfather did not understand that.
Mm.
He wanted me to work at the supermarket, pack groceries, go to college, wear jeans and a t-shirt. That was just not me. So we were always kind of clashing heads. But I had a couple teachers in school that really believed in me and supported me. And didn't think I was crazy. They encouraged my dreams. So, about 20 some years ago, a good friend of ours who used to work for Ronald Reagan in the White House as his social secretary, or I forget what exactly, she said, have you ever thought of being on a board? I'm like, board of what? So she mentioned this group called Covenant House, California, which is a homeless youth shelter in Hollywood.
Mm.
And prior to that, I worked with the I Have a Dream Foundation as a mentor. You're a mentor, but a
Hmm.
one-on-one mentor with young at-risk youth here in LA. And that was wonderful. I developed lovely relationships with a couple of young people, but it was a one-on-one thing. So when I was asked to join the board, I went to meet them. I thought, wow, I can. First of all, I didn't have support as a youth from adults in most cases. So I thought, youth, in my opinion, needs someone to encourage them,
Yeah.
help them build their dreams, help show them a path of how to get there. So I thought, oh, instead of being a one-on-one mentor with individuals, as a board member, I can help a lot more young people. So I joined the board, was there for 10 years. And the day one, I joined the board and said, okay, you're going to be our gala chairman for our gala this year. I never chaired a gala before. So I took it on. I was the gala chair, and we raised 440,000 that night, the biggest night they ever raised funds for. Then they asked me to find and open a shelter in Oakland, which I helped them do, and then expand our Hollywood facility. And so back in 2011, we decided to do a sleep out on the streets in Hollywood, which I thought was a great concept because me showing myself as a bougie Beverly Hills realtor, like wearing sweatpants and sleeping on a sidewalk in the cold and rain to help other people. So we started doing that. Last week we did our 14th sleep out, and
Mm.
we've raised over 11 million now in 14 years from these sleep outs. And this last Thursday it was pouring, the worst storm in LA history, pouring rain, thunder, lightning, gale force winds. But we did it. We survived. And when I meet, and every time we go, I meet the young people, they share their stories, and you can't even imagine the stories. And when
Mm.
I think about what myself and people that help me sleep out, people that donate, the difference we make in these young people's lives. And when they come from desperate situations to in 2 or 3 years, they're productive members of society, they have jobs, they are starting families, they're growing their businesses, they're becoming wealthy, and they're all coming back to Covenant House to help and share and donate time. So to me, look, every day is Thanksgiving for me, every day is Christmas. I mean, I'm grateful every morning when I wake up, even before my affirmations, I'm in bed and I go through a whole visualization of gratitude, so many things, and then at night.
Mm.
So to me, I'm grateful that I can share, I can help, and I want to make our world a better place. And
Mm.
whether it's one, two, or however many, and when you consider this 4.2 million homeless youth living on the streets of the United States, I mean,
Mm. Mm. Mm.
the richest country in the world, and there's 4.2 million kids living on the streets. So anything I can do to help change that, that's important to me.
Yes, I can tell you're genuine about that.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
right to your core, which is
Yes.
wonderful. Well, boy, this has been great. Any other little tidbits you want to share with our realtors?
We're here to empower realtors and help them be better people overall, right?
Yep.
So be balanced, number one. Always take care of yourself first, your family, your loved ones, your friends, everyone. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't help others, number one. Number two, always be learning, growing, building, sharing, and share love and positivity and kindness and joy. One of my affirmations every day is I'm all about love, prosperity, joy, happiness, perfect health, and sharing that with everyone around me.
Mm.
So, so just think of who you are, what's in your core. How can you share that in the world? Look, we're in a world today where we have so much information coming to us, and a lot of it's negative, right? So put out the positivity. And another thing I've not done for many, many years, I don't watch any newscasts, any news channels, listen to it ever. I don't want to hear anything negative. If anything really major is going on in the world, someone's going to text me, it's going to pop up in social media. I'll find out that way. I don't
Hmm.
need to look, our mind is a funnel of energy. If we take in lots of negative, bad things, what's going to come out the other side? Negative, bad
Right.
things. So I try to look, we all have bad days and good days, and times you feel depressed or down or sad or angry, whatever those emotions are. My job, and this is old Anthony Robbins, how quickly can I recognize that negative emotion and let it go and be who I want to be. And I remember, I think Anthony Robbins said this years ago, when you're feeling bad, put all that stuff in a box, like a mental box, like put all the fears, worries, whatever you're thinking about. Oh, let me put this in the box now, put it to the side for right now and focus on helping someone, whatever that is. So if you focus on the negativity, you're going to get nothing but negativity. So
Yes, and then also we're training our subconscious on all those negative things. It just brings it to us. And exactly the formula that you just did, you're training your subconscious that you are attracting all kinds of good, positive things to you because your brain's going to put you on the path of what you're thinking.
yeah.
It's
And as we
powerful.
all know in our business, I don't care how big of a broker you are, there are times in your career where there's no sales. So this is maybe 20-ish years ago. I was coaching with Tom Ferry, and I went through a period of 4 or 5 months, not a single closing, like
Mm.
nothing. And living in Beverly Hills and all that, the expenses are pretty big. So I was kind of nervous and worried and living in that fear all the time. And I remember thinking to myself, I felt like I was in a vortex being pulled down. But my coach Tom every week and my wife, don't focus on that. And I would say to Tom, I would come to work every day, even though nothing was happening. I says, keep doing it, things will happen. And magically, on a Sunday morning, this is before cell phone, actually, really cell phone, before the iPhone, I was at my office on a Sunday morning. My office phone rang. Got a call from a friend who wanted me to list their home, one of the most beautiful homes in Los Angeles, which
Mm.
we'd been to. Met him the next morning. I listed the house for $30 million. This is 21 years ago. I did sell it. And I remember the listing appointment. He says, one of the questions was, what's your commission? And I smiled and said, 6%, which was unheard of in that price range. He says, I'm only paying you $1 million to sell this house. So I scratched out, there was no win forms, and it was a paper contract. I scratched and I wrote in 1 million. So a year and a month later, we sold it and he paid us $1 million.
Wow.
But it was 4 months of fear, worries, not depression, but all the stuff that goes with that.
Oh,
And
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, thank God for my wife and Tom. Keep going, keep going. And magically, this wonderful, and when I got the listing, I'm like, how I have no money right now. How am I going to market this? The company supported me and we sold it. So, anyways, don't get caught up in the negativity or issues in your lives, because we all
Hmm.
have them. Take care of it, do what you can, put it aside, and then focus on what you can do for yourself and help others. But don't get caught up in the muck and mire. That's never going to help you with anything.
Nothing. Well, I love that. Well, I've enjoyed having you on here so much. Lots and lots of nuggets for everybody. And thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. And I want to have you on my podcast.
Ooh, I would love it.
Appreciate and be grateful every day is a Thanksgiving. Be thankful for everything you have, no matter how small it is or how big. Just always be thankful and grateful.
Great
Blessings
words
to
of
you all.
wisdom. Thank you so much. Well, that's it, everybody, and that was a gem. So I hope you listen in, and we'll have all Christophe's information below so you can reach out to him. And I appreciate everyone on here, and thank you again. Let's book a strategy call and see how it would look in your eyes. And if you're thinking, man, I'd like to have a conversation with Kathy Byrnes. Maybe I'd like to be part of this EXP company and see what it's all about. That sounds good to me. Let's book a strategy call and let's have a talk. No pressure, but man, it's worth a conversation. The link's in the description.